Hello, everyone. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, President, Founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which is sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Also, Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities are not. So today I'd like to welcome each of you to GST Presents Top Global Startups, where I look at companies that are beyond the headlines. I look at companies that are changing the world, the founders reshaping the global economy. Today we're tackling a defining question for this decade. Will the AI economy be democratized or dominated? Joining us today is Cien Solon, CEO and founder of LaunchLemonade, a platform often described as a Canva for AI agents. With over 7,000 users and 20,000 plus AI agents built, Sienna is building infrastructure for a future where anyone, not just large enterprises, can deploy intelligent agents to scale their businesses. But here's the tension. At the same time AI is becoming more powerful, it's also becoming more concentrated in data, compute, and capital. So the question is no longer just what AI can do, it's who gets to benefit. So with that, I'd like to bring her.
Hi, thanks for having me here, Gary.
Yeah,
What?
good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk. I mean, that introduction is a killer. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved so far.
Well, I don't know about being a killer. I've just been around a long time. So, um, you position this as a democracy in the AI economy. Define precisely what does a democratized AI economy actually look like in practice?
I love talking about this topic. It's near and dear to my heart. It's exactly the what this topic fuels the mission, which is when we talk about ethics and democratization, we often think about use, like who has access. But I think it's more than that. It goes beyond than the access. It's more about equity. We're talking about $15 trillion of AI contributions to global GDP by 2030. But who gets to take a piece of that pie? Right now, it's the like the conglomerates and the big names out there who have been able to get billions of dollars in investments, but no one's really thinking about how are we going to get everyone to monetize from this thing. How are we going to get everyone to take equity from this thing? And that's the backbone of Launch Lemonade. We want people not only to be able to build um, a replica of their expertise by building agents out of their intelligence, but how do you monetize from this? How do you get other businesses to buy off of you, off of what you built? And that's what I'm talking about when I say democratization.
Historically, every major technological shift, industrialization, the internet, created both an opportunity and inequality. Are we repeating that same pattern with AI, or is this time fundamentally different?
Oh, scaled. I think it's a big problem. I think it's an even bigger problem. So I don't know if you've seen this graph around going on LinkedIn. I saw it from Stephen Bartlett's LinkedIn page, where you'd see like loads of dots. The gray dots represented those who aren't using AI at all, and it was like a significant number, over 80%, I think. And then you've got like the yellow dots that were using the free version of ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, and you've got the green dots that were paying for a subscription, and then you've got the one red dot that represents 0.04% of the entire population building something out of it. So if we just based on that number, only 0.04% are attempting to
Hmm.
take equity to take a piece of that 15 trillion opportunity. Um, I lost the question. I lost the
So,
question.
yeah, I said historically, every major technological shift,
Exactly.
industrialization,
Yeah.
the internet.
And so my point is, this inequality can scale even further. So I think there's going to be even more inequality if we don't address this problem now.
Well, I mean, the one thing that the AI does, and people don't realize it, is it gives you superpowers to do things that are extraordinary. I know in 2024, actually August 23rd, 2024, um, I built a cancer vaccine for my dog at a molecular level because I took 14 large language models and it told me what to do for my dog, my basset hound, and that I needed to take her kidney out, the tumor, and I had to send it to a lab and have it analyzed. And we built a cancer vaccine with less than in 2 weeks for the dog, and I put her in complete remission of stage 4 kidney cancer. And what I understood then is, and then I had a issue. I had stage 3 kidney disease, not cancer. But what happened is I actually again put the AI on top on me, and it told me that mesenchymal stem cells from an umbilical cord, that if I had over 40 million of them, that I could change it. And I went and had it done in a week. My stage 3 kidney disease was gone. And what I understood is that, and then my biological age dropped. I've had three full body stem cell replacements. I'm one of 31 people out of 10,600 that's ever done it. And what happened is I understood that you can change everything. But the thing is, we have too much data, infobesity. And we don't, most people don't know how to harness the power of the AI to do anything, right? But in reality, it can do nearly everything.
Absolutely. I mean, I have been developing AI solutions well before ChatGPT. The first chatbot that I trained with a team was in 2017, and we built some of the teams that I've been part of. We built models in credit, fraud, identity, but the teams that were building this technology utilizing AI, yes, it was machine learning then, you've got big data as well. But the teams had a lot of funding or were, uh, enterprise businesses that took advantage of this. And they were predominantly in the fintech, financial services space. Um, so when ChatGPT and Hugging Face and all these open source language models came out, uh, the how small to medium sized businesses understood it outside of businesses that were funded or are established, they just thought chatbot that could answer FAQs. That was our initial understanding when I was starting my business in 23, late 23, early 24. No one really understood that work was going to change as we know it. The value of the employee was going to change as we know it, and now everyone's feeling like they're left behind because the technologies have evolved so much. It can actually take over certain roles. It's now autonomous, and the role of the employee is now moving from executor to orchestrator. So yeah, it's
Exactly. It's funny because I've written quite a few books, but one of the books, I just happen to have it here. What impact will digital employees have in the workplace? And this one I wrote 3 years ago. And people were saying to me, "Oh, this isn't going to happen." I said, "You don't understand. It's going to change everything because, and in a good way, it's really great because it's going to be able to do things that you won't have the time." Because think about this, Ian. You're a really smart lady, right? You've been involved in tech a long time. But think about it. In your own world, you got about 300,000 items in your personal cloud. The entire web in 1996 was 257,000 websites. You have more information in your personal cloud than the entire web. Cien's world is growing at the same trajectory as the web. By that, I mean doubling every year. With the Internet of Things, you're going to have 10 million items. Think about this. As smart as you are, right? How many times last 3 weeks somebody said, "I've sent you a message. Did you get it? Where did you send it?" I sent it to your email or your LinkedIn or your Facebook or your Slack. When did you send it? I sent it 2 days ago. Let me check. I can't find it. You don't even look. You just say send it again, and you give them the email address or WhatsApp because you know you're going to lose it if you don't look right away.
true.
Right? And it's insane. And so this infobesity problem that we have, most people don't get it. There's 176 zettabytes of data on the planet. If you took DVDs or CDs and stacked them one top of another, it'd go 128 times between the Earth and the Moon, growing at 69.6% per year. That is a lot of data. So using these tools to help us sift through it and to make intelligent decisions is going to be critically important because I'm a clinical psychologist too. And one of the things we call it learned helplessness. When you have so much data, you get paralyzed.
Yeah,
We don't move. It's crazy,
it
right? What
is.
you're doing is amazing. And, you know, um, so is AI becoming more like electricity, broadly accessible infrastructure, or more like nuclear power, concentrated and controlled?
This is an interesting an interesting. I feel like it's a philosophical question.
Well,
Um,
just so you know, I have 14 large language models, and she asked you it, not me.
um, I think it depends on with it depends on whether governments will decide to regulate this thing or not. It will depend on.
Is that good or bad, though, Cian?
I think that it can be both. I think it can be both. And it depends on how they regulate and who gets to define what
If
regulation
they
is.
do it like GDPR, right? What do you
Correct.
think is going to happen?
So, what I think will happen is that the onus and the responsibility on adhering to responsible AI, if who defines what regulation is the wrong team, the wrong committee. If they are the wrong committee, then the onus will just land on the consumers and the builders who are going to feel stifled.
They're going to feel stifled. And guess what? That country that does it's going to be in last place, and the country that doesn't do it's going to be in first place, and nothing good happens in.
Exactly.
Seriously.
That's my fear. But if we do this right, then a lot of people might be able to keep their jobs.
Well,
Or
we have to go down through. There's things that need to be solved. Um, by 2050, they double the food supply and can increase the number of cattle because 26% of the pollution's methane gas from cows. What's it mean? We need more plant-based protein. What's it mean? We're from the farm to the table. We've got to increase protein, right, in crop yield. And so this is like something that has to happen. It's
has to
not like if, it has to happen. We've got challenges. Places like the Philippines, if you look at if you look at the world, and the average temperatures by the end of the century could be up 11 degrees Fahrenheit. 11 degrees Fahrenheit could raise sea levels up 15, 20 feet. And these are challenges, and having the tools to be able to take care of these challenges is going to be important. So if we don't use them for humanity, for the good things, nothing good's going to happen.
Yeah, that is also true. But yeah, but I think there is a world where that can happen as well, and as well as also protect uh, employees and workers. If it there it
How do you
almost there
protect them?
has to be a way.
How do you protect them, though? Seriously. So do you think it's protection in terms of giving them knowledge so they use the tools to be able to help them so they get the superpowers? Is that what it's going to take? Training them so they know how to use the tools to be able to make, kind of like your grandmother, right? Your grandmother loves you and cares about you, right? No matter what you do, it's unconditional love, and we'll guide you and tell you that something's right or wrong, but still love you. Do you think it's like that we create an AI model that loves you and cares about you and helps you negotiate your path through everything?
No, not necessarily. I think a lot of, and this is what the vision of Launch Lemonade is, that everyone should be able to build and make a business and build a business out of this thing. There's an AI agent that will represent you in an agent marketplace and it'll make money for you. That's a vision, and that's what we're fighting for: equity, empower people, get people building. But I'm also thinking about those people who doesn't have that in them. There is just a cohort of people who don't understand entrepreneurship. We can't, and I don't know the answer to this, but I feel like we can't just say, here's education for you, become an entrepreneur. I just don't know. And feel confident around that, because I know people who I love who just say, I don't have it in me. And so I don't know. I think that everyone should build is the bottom line. But can everyone build?
Well, I
Can
mean,
everyone sell?
you better hope there's still doctors, lawyers, and dentists and things. You know what I mean? Our nurses from the Philippines, right?
Plumbers. Yeah.
Yeah, and electricians. So we've got, well, we better work together to solve these problems. Um, is a problem really the technology? If you look at it, there's a barrier for small to medium sized businesses for adoption because of complexity, trust, integration, or knowing where to start, right? What do I do? How do I get involved in this? Um, and is a problem really the technology, or is it translation, turning AI capability into a business outcome, understanding what the result could be, and then you just use it?
Yeah, I think I used to say that it is your understanding of what your problems are or your goals are, and then working back on seeing how AI can address those problems or help you achieve those goals. I think that's the biggest problem for a lot of business leaders right now who are like, how what do I do with AI? It's really to understand your goal, what are your business goals, what are your business problems, and then working your way from there. I do think that that is a bigger problem. There is another problem around this persona that I'm still seeing, and I can't believe that I'm still seeing this, but I call them observers. And these observers are waiting for AI to be the perfect thing that will solve everything for them, and they'll wait for that day to happen where it just does everything for them. So they're not touching it because it's not doing everything for them. It's not as powerful, and they still have to prompt it. And the problem with these people is they're not experiencing how the technology is progressing. They're not learning it, and they're just waiting. And one day they're gonna hit a wall and feel like they're being left behind. And we're seeing a lot of people who
Oh, it's
are
already started. I'm in Silicon Valley. I see it all the time. You can't
all
believe
yeah,
it. It's unbelievable. I see Uber drivers out there that are former engineers that were doing quality testing and all that, and a lot actually. And it's already started. It's not like if it's going to happen, and it's already started. And then one thing about the valley is a port to the world. So there's first mover advantage of being in a place like that. So um, it's happening fast. It's happening way faster than what I thought it would happen, actually.
way faster. So I think that that's one problem as well. And then you've got the operator. I think the operators are good for now, where they're just, like they're chat GPT, Claude Pros, like they're really deep into the tech and they're using it to execute faster. But the risk there is they're not building, they're not orchestrating, they're still executing. So I'm calling them operators. They're still executing, and they might be executing themselves out of their roles right now. And I do think that a lot of businesses need to focus on understanding how agents work, but then still thinking, okay, these are the problems that I have. How do I utilize agents to solve these problems or help me achieve my goals?
No, I agree. And you've been described as a Canva for AI agent. Break that down. What is abstraction layers are you removing for users?
So I have been an Adobe user for, I would say, a couple of decades. Like I learned it in school. I've been using since I was a kid. Like I'm a creative, so I've always loved Adobe. Even when I was working for enterprise businesses, Adobe ruled the creative space. Like it was the tool for the creative space. But it takes forever to put something out, whether it's a deck or a creative. Like it was, if you were an entrepreneur, you needed to hire someone to just manage Adobe and all of your collateral out of Adobe, for example. And there are other tools out there as well. Canva removed that layer. So Canva reduced the overhead costs for being able to market and sell and present, right? And that's the idea of Launch Lemonade, is that we want to remove that layer of having to scale from a team's perspective, but actually scale through AI agents instead, without the complexity of needing a tech team to build something that will help you land more customers, get more exposure, etc.
One of the challenges, and I see this a lot. I travel around the world. I just came back from Africa, by the way, and I see this all over the world. I see it in the UK. We have companies from the UK, and I'm all over 73 countries now. But I see this a lot. The problem is a couple of things. One is people don't get it because they're a year and a half behind Silicon Valley. So they don't get it. The investors don't get it. So they're not putting the kind of money in, and they don't have the networking contacts, operational expertise, or the access to capital. They don't have those three things that are fundamentally important to build a unicorn. And so what happens is you go down through and you take a slug. There's no more. It's not like before where you have time. I hear stories about companies like yours a lot, by the way. So, because I'm talking to a lot of people every day, right? And I think you're right on target. But the key is also who runs the fastest now. It's not like before you have like a year, 2 years to get out. It's like, you're either going to win the Olympics or you're going to go, you're going back to high school.
Yeah, and I work for some of these companies that got, like millions and or even billions of investments, total investments. I'm at two minds at this because I am growing slow. I only got half a million, almost half a million dollars in pre-seed investments. We are going for another seed round, but I bootstrapped it for 2 years. And I think it's there. I think there is a world where small to medium size, like if you have an idea for an AI agent, you can just uh, solve a really niche problem, bootstrap it, or even just raise a small angel round and then just solve a particular problem that you're really good at. So if you're an expert at something like, let's say, B2B sales in medical, pharmaceuticals, or whatever, you build AI agents in that specific niche. You're a great seller and a marketeer. You're building a TikTok following. I think there is a world where you can utilize the technology because it's so cheap to build on top of, and then do the marketing yourself. I think there is a world where that is, but also I'm in this space where I have a big ambition and I have a big dream. I will become a unicorn company, but I'm doing it in a conventional way. And there are many reasons to why. Where I live, um, as we were chatting earlier, the European investing investment market is not Silicon Valley.
They just don't move. I had one of the billionaires call me from there, right? One of the wealthiest families in Europe called me up and literally, wanted a Zoom call. I had a conversation with him, and he said, "Well, can you help me? I want to come out to Silicon Valley." Now, this is a family that you know the name of. You know what I mean? That famous. And I said,
I can guess actually.
"Yeah." And I said, "Why?" He said, you're famous, right? Your family's got $100 billion. And he said, because they don't get it. They just don't get it. They move too slow. That was direct conversation.
It
And
is.
I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? It's like, he said, they move too slow. We can't move this slow. Not anymore.
Yeah, it is. And also, I'm a woman. Like, sadly, if you look at the numbers, only 2.3% of VC funding has gone to a female founder last year. This isn't an old number. This was a 2025 figure. So there are challenges that I am facing as a female founder, but it's not. It's allowing me to become very resourceful and resilient, and also I'm building the right traction for me to have the right conversations. Unfortunately, that is the situation. But I'm also exploring, like, flying to SF in the next couple of months, seeing what the market's like out there with the traction that I already have and the platform that I've been building.
I had one of my companies, just FYI. So it was founded a month ago, 1 month ago. Within 3 days, they got $300,000 in the first first round of funding. 300, right?
Love it.
And these guys are on track, to do a $5 million round. In my opinion, in the near term. I personally raised $7 million in 3 months from start to start. Yeah, so it works. Listen, we're coming up to the top of the show. If you want to stay on for a little bit, we can talk afterwards. That would be great. And so, closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you, Cien?
Yeah, so I think, well, you could check out my platform, LaunchLemonade app. We're launching our version 2 in a couple of weeks, actually, where we're building a lot of security and governance features on top of the 42 language models that are available on the platform. You can build on top of the language models with your knowledge base, and you don't have to code at all. And you can monetize your AI agents as well. And you can find me on Substack as Human and the Machine. I write about obsolescence and how we can keep participating in this AI economy. And I'm on all social media channels.
No, that's great. Well, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to
Thank you,
join
guys.
us today. And thanks to all of you one more time. We're now at our 1700th podcast, and it's great to have you all here. So check out my new book, How Stem Cells Changed Me. Check out our channel. We started a new longevity channel. Could be interesting for you. And check out GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio. And it's not about the talk, it's about the action. So stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back again soon with another exciting edition. Thank you, Cien, and thank you, everybody. It's appreciated.